with that being said, that's going to segue over to what I want to talk about right now. You had said they were one of the worst that you've seen in your lifetime. I mean, they ranked 125th last year in scoring offense. I mean, their defense had to carry them throughout the season. I mean, there was times where it would be third and short, like less than 2 or 3 yards. And you were holding your breath because you're like, dude, can this kid make a 2-yard pass?
Right.
I mean, like, can they do that? And I can't put all of it on Spencer Petras. I really can't put it all on him. There was certainly a lot of, I think, play calling decisions. There was certainly a lot of, to me, there's a lack of sort of prominence in the wide receiver room out there. Who's that big name guy that you're going to go to? They had Sam Laporta, who was a great tight end, but I mean, even if you're a pretty good tight end, I mean, who else do they had? They had, they've had some good tight ends come out of Iowa, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Kittle,
Hawkinson. Hawkinson.
I'm missing another one too in the NFL right now. Jesus, who's the other one from Iowa? Hawkinson, Kittle. Oh, Noah Fant, another guy. He's a kid. He plays with Seattle now.
Yeah,
and they got a kid in this year's combine that's way up there again too. They have guys. Yeah, you'd think they'd be able to get the ball down the field a little bit more and put up more than what they score on offense, Christian. I'm reading here 17.7 per game last year.
Yeah, I was right at 17 points a game.
And that seems even way higher than what I actually think. And maybe they had a couple games in there where they put up some points against some no-namers, but
they didn't score. From what I remember, I don't even think they scored an offensive touchdown against. It was one of those FCS schools, like South Dakota or something like that.
Yeah. I think that did come down to the wire.
The old Jackrabbits. I mean, if that school literally would have had any kind of offense, it would have been a good night. See you later.
Right.
So look, here's the reality of it. I mean, and now here I've kind of said the bad, so I can get into the good here for you. Spencer Petras. And I guess I say that he had 8 total touchdowns last year. Interesting stat. He had 5 passing touchdowns to go alongside of 5 interceptions.
He didn't turn the ball over.
Do what?
He didn't turn the ball over. You know what I mean? Would you say 5 touchdowns and 5 picks?
I would say you pretty much zero. You net yourself out there.
Yep.
I mean, if he'd had 7 interceptions to 5 touchdown passes, okay, now we've got a negative point differential there. In an ideal world, you have 15 touchdowns, right? I'll kind of speak to that. They have Cade McNamara coming in, who had back in 2021, which was really the last time he saw significant playing time. He had 16 total touchdowns. I think he only had 5 interceptions or something like that.
Yeah, and you do know he's coming from Jim Harbaugh's style offense, which is relatively similar to what Iowa wants to do, right? I mean, he's not gonna dazzle you with a 5 touchdown game. But if they can establish the run, I do believe he can throw the ball off a play action, kind of like what Michigan did, and what J.J. McCarthy's obviously the better athlete. I think that's kind of why he won the job personally last year, and Cade got pissed, I think, right away and pretty much quit the team, if I'm not mistaken, something along those lines. But, I agree with you. I mean, the 5 turnovers by Petras last year, that's not bad. At least he didn't have a year like Jameis Winston did in the NFL where you got, 30 touchdowns and 30-some picks. I mean, wasn't just slinging it up there like your boy Brett Favre, but
hey, bro. But listen, this is the difference here that you're getting at quarterback, and that is Petras did that with 1,700 total yards. I tried to look at his rushing stats. Don't do that.
No,
he had negative 182 rushing yards on the season.
No. It was like Tom Brady back there, bro.
Oh, Lord, yeah. You get him inside the 5-yard line, I mean, he's got a chance. But other than that, no, he's not. Here's the other side of it. Cade McNamara put up 2,500 total yards. I think he's a little bit more, he can run it a little bit better. He's got a little bit better mobility there, which is something that can kind of help you. Yep. I feel as if when we talk about this, what they want them to do, and really if you're Iowa, you just want to be able to move the ball, kind of like Tom Brady, right? Just move it down the field, set things up, when we take our shots, we want to be able to connect on them. That's the important part. Now, part of that is you got to create separation. You got to have some wide receivers that can do that. If they can do that, if Iowa can just simply clean that up a little bit on offense and they can continue to move the ball down from a passing standpoint, the field, they, again, could easily compete for the Big Ten next year. I don't know if even the best case scenario for Iowa next year, and this hurts me to say because I'm representing the Hawks here. I don't know if I could even say, hey, I think they could make it to a Big Ten championship game. 100%, I think they could. But could they beat Ohio State or Michigan with their current roster? And I think that's the tough spot. I mean, man, wouldn't it be cool to see Cade McNamara and the Iowa Hawkeyes next year go up against Michigan in the Big Ten championship game? That would be a storyline that I would only have to believe that would be scripted for that to happen.
Well, and that's the thing. And a couple on top of that with you, Christian, like Iowa doesn't really play anybody regular season schedule wise, right? I mean, you're looking at what Utah State, Iowa State, Western Michigan, Penn State to start off the first four. I mean, it's not to dig into schedules, but I mean, it's just they don't play anybody. They don't play an Ohio State or a Michigan or anybody even the non-conference. You know what I mean? They don't have that, so they could easily be up to that Nebraska game, 1 or 2 loss. It could be undefeated. Hell, who knows? Same with Nebraska, right? I mean, that west side of the fucking division is, I don't want to say trash, but it's just really, really weak compared to the East. So, Penn State will be a questionable game there. We don't know. We haven't talked in. We'll probably dig deeper into that in further podcast here. But like, I was going to be fine this year. And if somebody told me, hey, I think I saw something in the comment section about Iowa, it's like, yeah, they definitely could be in the Big Ten title game. Absolutely. I'm not writing them off.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they're bringing back tight end. They lost Sam Laporta, but they're bringing back, their second leading receiver, who was a tight end, Luke Lackey. If I'm saying that right. So that's going to be good for them. I mean, for sure. They also are bringing in. They've got at the tight end position. They've got Eric All, who's transferring in from Michigan. He was a guy who ended up having 3 catches, 36 yards, no touchdowns last year. Again, what the hell's up with these Michigan guys? I mean, just transferring over to Iowa. I like it. I mean, that's probably somebody that Cade McNamara has got a little bit of rapport with, and chances are that'll kind of help bode well for him. Okay, on the same side of that, when we're looking here at the wide receiver position, they bring in Seth Anderson from Charleston Southern. He had 612 yards and 7 total touchdowns. Again, Charleston Southern, it's a whole different style of football up here. I always say probably you can expect half the production of that. So expect him to put up probably 3-4 touchdowns this year, maybe have 300-400 yards receiving, right? Who knows? He could come in and probably double that, right? I mean, he could set the world on fire. We're not really sure, given the right opportunity and the right system here. Here's the other thing that if you're an Iowa fan, you've got to be really, really excited about. And that is Caleb Johnson's going to be really special. The Caleb Johnson's going to be really special, in my opinion. He's a freshman running back. Him and LaShawn Williams, they both combined for 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns last year. They're a team that they want to run the ball down your throat, and they want to pretty much control that clock, control that tempo. Again, they want to pick and choose their spots. There are certain points throughout the game where they're going to try to, it reminds me of Alabama back in the day, just with not as dynamic playmakers on the outside there, right? They want to sort of run the ball, and then in the third quarter, they want to start pretty much play actioning you, rolling out, moving the pocket, and starting to hit those long throws down the field. And I think that's where you really, once you get into a rhythm, you can start to make some things happen. Now, we talk about Iowa, and their bread is buttered on the defensive side of the ball. They are losing Jack Campbell, Lucas Van Ness, Riley Moss, and Kavion Merriweather. Okay, so at every level, they're losing their best pass rusher. They're losing their heart and soul in the middle of the field on defense. They're losing their best cornerback, and they're losing their best safety. Those are huge losses, in my opinion. However, one thing that I can say Iowa does a fantastic job at year in and year out is they do a really good job at reloading and reshuffling.
Yes,
again, the name that jumps out to me when I'm looking at this is, really Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean, he's a kid that you see his name pop up a lot when you turn on the film. I also like Logan Lee down here at that defensive tackle spot. I think he's going to be able to kind of step up and kind of help get after the quarterback and kind of help keep that middle solidified there for you.
Yeah, no, and the names you're bringing up are very relevant kids. These guys are going to be fine on defense, dude. That's what Iowa does. They reload every year, especially up front on both sides of the ball, man. Like I said, you asked the question, well, how are these Michigan guys coming over? Like I said earlier, man, very similar. Michigan, just a more prolific offense. Same style, you know what I mean? Smash mouth fucking football, big offensive lineman, defensive side of the ball, stay home, believe in your buddy, believe in your teammate, you know, do your job. You know what I mean? It's very simple football. But yeah, I agree. No, that's the thing. That's where I said, and a couple on for the Nebraska side, that's where we're going to have to be better, right? And that's where I thought Nebraska last year, why they won that game, pressure on the defensive side of the ball. I'm switching gears here, obviously, with Christian. But, you know, I believe Iowa came into that Nebraska game last year with 4 straight wins. You know, after 3 straight losses, something like that. We got the dub. I'm gonna ride that momentum coming into that game. I think you kind of throw all the shit out the window before that game. If this is a rivalry game like most people, you know, make it out to be, and I think it is starting to become one step by step. So like that's the thing with Iowa though, and I will touch right there on your topics. Yeah, the guys that you just mentioned though are studs, dude, and they will reload. Iowa gets Nebraska kids now, man, which hurts me a lot, hurts in the heart. But Iowa's become a very physical football team the last how many years now, and they continue to do so. I don't see anything changing this year.